Is a cauldron of pressure, and that is ratcheted up when you go on the road. And this highly ranked squad has found itself coming into a snake pit in this one. Welcome everyone to the Woodshed, East Lansing, Michigan. Spartan Stadium on the banks of the Red Cedar and home to Michigan State. As we'll see a squad from the Big Ten, the Penn State Nittany Lions, taking on another team from the Big Ten, the Michigan State Spartans. Glad to have you with us for EA Sports College Football. I'm Bruce Davis, David Pollock and Jesse Palmer with me in the booth. Guys, we are ready to tee it up. And it'll come out to the 25. No attempt at a return. Looking downfield, it's Child. And this will be incomplete. A big hit there forces second down.
Not many receivers like to get hit. They just don't, okay? They're prima donnas. That's what they are. That's who they are. Nice job by the defender. You could tell he was catching the football. He was going to put a hit on him to make sure he had to think about something later, and you could see the ball pop out and fall to the ground.
After the incompletion, it's 2nd and 10 from their own 25. Looking to fire. And that's going to be incomplete. A lot of contact on the play, but no flags. It'll be 3rd down.
And I think on that last play, that's an example of the quarterback trying to predetermine who he wants to throw to, and instead of letting the defense dictate who gets the ball. Man coverage, that guy was not open that time out on the perimeter of the field. Still, he gave him a chance, but that thing had incompletion written all over it from the moment the ball left his hand.
And this quarterback hasn't been able to find his rhythm on his first 2 throws. 3rd and 10 coming up. He's got an open man. And he goes down right there, but a solid pickup, and it'll be a 1st down.
And listen, the defense knew coming into this one, they were going to target him early and often. He is a weapon, and there's no mystery where the quarterback's going to be looking on critical down and distances. Let's see how they're able to cover him throughout the rest of this game.
The Spartans will line it up on 1st and 10. Looking to throw on 1st down. Swings it out to the flat. Jukes his way for more. They make the stop, but this passing game does some damage, and they move the sticks with the 1st down.
Nice job by the running back, catching the football and understanding where the first down marker was. I got to go get that first down. He did a nice job of it.
And the Spartans are moving quickly down the field. They'll run it out of the shotgun. Got enough for the first. And he's brought down after a nice gain. This is what Spartan running backs do. They get behind their pads, they move the chains. Le'Veon Bell among many who've been great at that.
And Kenneth Walker, man, you pull back a couple years ago, such a great season too. But just that's their physicality. That's the brand that they've had. That's what their coaches embrace. You know, not being the quote-unquote main team in their state, but they're going to hit you in the face and they're going to play physical.
Trying to make magic on the scramble. And the defense wrestles him to the ground.
Welcome to the frustrating reality of college football. Like, the guy at the quarterback spot, he can just do that. Pull it down, get positive yards, makes the defense have to account for him every single play.
So now it's 2nd and long. Wants to throw. It's Childs. Makes the grab. And he's brought down after a nice gain.
Get the big-time receiver involved early in the game. That's a huge key for this offense, no matter who they're playing against. But you can see, with his size, with his ability after the catch, this guy is a weapon, and he's putting this defense on alert early.
The Spartans have it with a 1st and goal. They'll try to get it in with the run. He has kept those big, powerful thighs churning, but he'll be knocked down at the 1. Looking for just 1 more yard. It's 2nd and goal.
Drive by the offense. Usually script the first 10 plays. Well, I had 1 extra. It only took 9. Great job moving down the field, stringing plays that look like other plays together, and getting this opening drive touchdown.
And with the extra point, they get the first 7 of the game. So they put together a 9-play, 75-yard drive. It was capped off by a 1-yard touchdown pass. And he'll just take a knee, and this drive will start at the 25. This is what we expected. This crowd ready to make its presence known. To the air, it's Aller. Taking a shot on the first play. And it was worth going for a chunk play, but the long pass is incomplete.
Yeah, I don't know if the quarterback got confused on 1st down. He might have thought the defense was going to be in man coverage that time, but they were in zone. They fooled him and just didn't seem like he had his eyes in the right place, was forcing that ball to his intent.
Breaks into the open. He gets those chains moving, gets it out to the 42-yard line. And the Nittany Lions took those plain headgears, got their blocks, and picked up the first down.
Yeah, and those headgears are a staple, aren't they, of college football? I know exactly what you're talking about, those beautiful helmets. They don't change very much, very traditional. Penn State keeps it simple. Being traditional, running the football.
Trying to get the corner. Still on his feet at the 45. Oh, he's getting ahead of steam. Touchdown, Penn State! And once he got away from the D, they had no shot at catching him. What an explosive eruption into the end zone by this running back.
And this back does it a lot, that he makes big plays. When you can make big plays like this, it makes everybody's job easier. Oh, we can play action. Oh, we can throw it. But it starts with the run game, and this guy's setting everything up.
They're getting set to kick it away, and that last score took a little oomph out of this crowd. Bounces through the end zone. It's a touchback. They'll bring it out to the 25. Michigan State has the ball back, and here comes the offense. Took the last drive in for a touchdown. They'll try to do it again on this one. Looking to throw on first down. Unloads to the wideout. Complete to the right. He gets those chains moving, gets it out to the 42-yard line.
As a head coach, you love it when your quarterback is locked in early. Opening drive, throws a touchdown pass. Really nice throw on that last play. Here in the second drive, he's firing on all cylinders. You can tell this guy did his homework coming into this game, and right now it's paying off.
That's caught. It's Kelly. They stop him at the 42, but they're on a roll with a pickup of 15 and a first down. The Spartans very efficient with this passing game.
You like that, Reese? You like that? I think so. This is an offense that, listen, when you've got a guy back there that can be efficient. Make no mistake, they're going to run the football, but when you get that Kirk Cousins guys, you start to really like the offense.
And the Spartans with myriad options after that big pickup on first down. Back to pass, it's Childs. Flips it out to the back.
Great job by the quarterback there, knowing where his answer is against the blitz. He finds his dump-off throw to the running back, and he does the rest, picking up the first.
The Spartans getting set on 1st and 10. They're trying to slow that rush down with the draw. Knocked down at the 27 after a pickup of 5.
Draws and screens are a great way to slow down really aggressive pass rushers. It allows the defensive ends and the defensive tackles to run upfield. The offensive linemen kind of push them upfield, go down to the next level, try to sneak in a big play.
Halfway there on first down, it's 2nd and 5. Wants to go up top. And the pass is incomplete, jarred loose by the hit.
Well, that looked like it was going to be a completion, but how about the defender making the hit and forcing the incompletion?
Here comes 3rd and short from the 27. This defense trying to make them settle for a field goal. From the gun, wants to pass. Caught near the sticks. It's McCray. He's brought down, but he's got him inside the 10. 1st and goal from the 8.
When you're a playmaker like this guy is, your coaches are going to dial up plays intended for you, especially on 3rd down. That's what you saw in that last play. There was no question where the quarterback was going with that football. All week long, they decided on the biggest downs of this game, we're going to target our best player, and we're going to make sure that he gets looks. It doesn't matter what the coverage is. You saw it right there on that play.
They've pushed it ahead to the 4. They'll try to cash in on 2nd and goal. And the pressure gets him back at the 8-yard line.
In that 2nd down play, the defense, I think, was expecting pass. So you saw them come firing upfield. They use their speed. They use their athleticism. They win the one-on-ones, and they get a big-time sack.
And how big is that earlier sack now as they try to get it in the end zone here? On 3rd and goal, they'll throw it. sets up the screen. And they've got him down after the short completion, but they inch closer and closer to pay dirt.
Nice job by the defense there. They knew coming into this one, this running back was dangerous catching the football, so really good job getting him down on the ground, now setting up 4th and goal.
And as they come to the line of scrimmage here, you can take the lead with a field goal, but a touchdown here gives you extra cushion. Touchdown, Michigan State! Grab the short pass to put the 6 on the board.
And it's so underrated, the relationship between a QB and a wide receiver, the timing, the ability to know where he's going to be and be accurate with the football, that's what leads to nice touchdowns, Jesse.
Well, the chemistry between these two guys has to be great when you're throwing into the end zone because coverage is going to be tight. The throw might not be perfect, but this is something these two guys have been repping in practice over and over and over, and it's paying dividends now on game day.
And the extra point is true, and they're on top by 7. Both teams wanted to establish the run, and they have done exactly that in the first quarter. Lots of time left, and we're ready to get back to it and open the second period. Kicker has everything lined up and about set to get this one underway. And it'll be a touchback. The ball will come out to the 25-yard line. So after the break, they'll go back to work. Looking for a crease. It's Allen. Did everything he could to discard the tacklers, but he was just able to get back to where he started.
That back had absolutely nowhere to run the football. Actually, is he counting? I think he's counting to make sure there's only 11 guys on defense.
They got nothing on the last play. It's 2nd and 10. Dropping back, it's Aller. Pulls it in, it's Pena. He steps out right at the 40-yard line, and now they are in business moving toward midfield.
Now, I think this receiver's forte is his route running. He's a guy that can line up all over the field, but it's not just catching post routes and goes. This guy can run shallows, he can run slants, he can run the option routes and find soft spots in the defense. This guy really has all the routes in his toolbox.
Well, the most insightful analysis I can come up with on that one is that didn't work. Back to the drawing board to see if there's something that works a little better, sir.
Or if I can quote the great Reese Davis, that was very ungood. Not a productive first down play.
Lost one on that last one. It's 2nd and 11. Back to pass. Got it behind the line. It's Singleton. And he's brought down after a nice gain.
Well, it's a nice play design there. You're getting the running back involved in the pass game. Quarterback gives it to him early so he can go to work upfield and get the first down.
The Nittany Lions are moving quickly down the field. The defense going to stop the clock with a timeout. They want to make sure they have everybody on the same page. And the Nittany Lions come to the line with a new set of downs. Gonna run it. It's Singleton. And he was fortunate not to lose yardage on that play, able to wedge it back to the line of scrimmage.
If you're going to stop the run game, you better be physical up front on the defensive line. They've got some maulers. They've got some dudes with bad intentions. Nice play there.
Dropping back, it's Aller. Buys a little time with his feet. Nothing open downfield, so he'll just toss it away.
A nice job by the quarterback there. You're outside the pocket, nobody's open, so you throw the ball away knowing that you still have more chances to get this first down.
The noise bouncing off of Sparty's armor as they encourage the green and white on third down. From the gun, wants to pass. A strike downfield. And they explode on that one, and they've got it down to the 22.
That's what's so scary about this offense. They've got guys in the perimeter that can change the game in one single play, and you saw it right there. Too much speed on the perimeter to create that explosive play.
Wants to throw on first down. Snagged out of the air. They make the stop at the 5-yard line, but they've got it first and goal.
This slot receiver gives defensive coordinators nightmares. You have got to double him virtually on every pass play. He better have safety help over top. Otherwise, this guy's a threat to score every time they throw the ball.
After coming up with back-to-back explosive plays, here they are first and goal. They'll try to get it in with the run. And he is just engulfed at the line by this giant defensive tackle.
And the draw play, it's about looking over here, look for pass, and then slipping it in real quick. Defense, too quick getting in the backfield, caging that ball, making it stay in the middle of the field, getting a big TFL.
The run up the middle, trying to power to the goal line. Into the end zone he goes. Touchdown, Nittany Lions. The extra point here would tie the game.
Wow, this offense, they have a lot of faith in this running back. Knowing if they get down in this area of the field, he can get it done and he can answer the bell. 2 rushing touchdowns already for this offense.
They're coming out to tee it up for the kickoff, and that last score was a real buzzkill for this crowd. And no chance at a return here. They'll start this drive at their own 25. Spartans have it back on offense, hoping to play some good ball. They had to stand by and watch that scoring march, and now it's up to them to find a way to answer it. He tries to take the top off. Intercepted. Big play stops the drive. Finally brought down, but what a play, not only to get the football, but to flip the field position with the return.
And you wonder if that interception is going to bring this guy back down to reality a little bit. He was lights out early in this game. Everything he was throwing was right on the money, and that might have been a decision where he got a little bit greedy, and David, the defense made him pay.
And this defense has seen it time and time. They've been throwing the football, having success. Nice job adjusting, breaking on the football, making a play. They needed to break serve. They needed something to happen to go their way to kind of mess this guy's rhythm up. That might be the start of it.
Not a whole lot of room there. 3 yards maybe, 2nd and 7.
And the defense doing a great job committing to the run. When you commit to the run like this, obviously you can give up some plays in the passing game, but you got to stop the run first.
Sends it back in motion. Looking for a man. It's Allard. Going over the top. Makes the catch. And he ran away from the defense to take it in. Touchdown, Penn State!
One of the reasons this offense is so exciting to watch, they've got guys that are dangerous after the catch. If this quarterback gets through his progression, David, he hits you in stride, these guys will take it to the house.
Man, it's your job to do the rest, right? You hit me in stride where I don't have to stop running, I don't have to break down. It makes it so easy, the connection between quarterback, wide receiver. You can tell this is a good one, and that's why they got 6 on that play.
Michigan State has the ball back, and here comes the offense. They'll try to answer that last score with one of their own. A chance here to tie the game with a touchdown drive. Here's the pressure. He'll pull it down and run.
You see a lot of quarterbacks get in trouble when they start forcing things. He did a really good job. He wanted to throw the football. You could tell. Drops back, nothing open. It's okay. I'm just going to take off and get what I can get.
Second down coming up. Looking to fire. And that's going to fall to the ground incomplete. That was a physical matchup there. Third down coming.
Well, the quarterback knew he wanted to go to his tight end on that play. He's a big physical target, but it was the hit on the play that forced the incompletion.
This is where you make the money on the drives. Ball at the 30, it's third and short. From the gun, wants to pass. Fires to the wideout. That's reeled in, it's Marsh. And he's brought down after a nice gain.
Well, I think on that play you saw why this guy's such a big weapon in this offense. At receiver, he does such a nice job with his routes. He's patient, and he's consistent, and he's got good hands. You don't see him put a lot of balls on the ground. Nice job there picking up the first down.
And the Spartans will snap it on 1st and 10. Makes the catch. It's McCray. And just a short, safe pass play. They pick up a few. And here comes the offense on second down. Dropping back, it's Childs. With the catch, it's Belling. Oh, he's got some space. Guided out of bounds at the 22. A good play for this offense as they are threatening to score. This guy fits that Spartan quarterback mold. A guy who makes plays, a Jeff Smoker, a Kirk Cousins.
Yeah, a guy that you can depend on. You got to find that guy that can complement who you are and what you are, and so you can get a lot of the fans going, go green, go white. Find the complement at quarterback to this offense.
And this one will be stopped for no gain.
The whole point of running the quarterback on these designed runs is to get an extra blocker. You should be getting more movement up front, but that time, guys were getting knocked backwards, and as a result, they actually lost a yard.
Lost yardage on that last one. It's 2nd and 11. Wants to go up top. Rushes on him. They make the stop, but what a job on the scramble to get loose and pick up that first down. Down to the 12-yard line, it's first down. Wants to go up top on first down. They get enough rush, and it pays off. The sack at the 20.
What a nice answer by this defense. You give up the big play, you respond right back, you get the sack, create some momentum for your side. Nice job by this defense staying with it.
Second down, he'll throw it. Unloads to the right. How about that play to get a hand in there and force the incompletion?
You know, it's so important for corners to be able to transition, right? You got to have real loose hips. You got to be able to change direction on a dime. And in zone coverage, when you see the ball thrown, you can break on it and force incompletions like that.
Already in field goal range, but now trying to convert this 3rd and long from the 20. Hand off from the shotgun. Fights off a defender.
He's brought down at the 13-yard line. Coming up, 4th down.
They'll try to get something out of this drive and kick the field goal here on 4th down. Quick timeout by the defense there, trying to make sure everyone has the same call. They'll have to settle for a field goal attempt. Splits the uprights right down the middle. That'll bring him to within 4.
And you want a touchdown and you want to be aggressive, but man, right down the middle, that obviously gives me some confidence down the road that I can trust this guy.
The ball bounces through the end zone, and it will be a touchback. The drive starts from their own 25-yard line. Back to throw, it's Aller. Just a short pass to the tight end. They stop him almost immediately. Short gain there, and still a little ground covered. Pick up the first.
I'll tell you, I love the play call on first down here. You're just trying to find an easy completion, and the shortest throw on the field for the quarterback is finding your biggest target, and that's the tight end. Nice job.
The Nittany Lions with a 2nd and short to keep this drive moving. Leaves it with the running back. And just wedges it ahead a bit before he's brought down. Here's a timeout on the field. Tight game here late in the first half.
Man, it's really hard to control the running game if you don't control the line of scrimmage. And how about the defensive line doing a great job attacking those guys up front, not open up lanes to run through. Nice job just nullifying that run altogether.
Grabbed behind the line, it's Reynolds. We got a timeout here late in the first half, and they'll try to get more points on the board before the break. The Nittany Lions will call on their punt team. They'll have to punt for the first time this afternoon. He'll aim it toward the sideline to try to make it tough on the return team. Get a chance to work on that hurry-up offense here in the final minute of the first half. They're going to throw it to start the drive. Got his man. Across the 45. Finally forced out of bounds. Maybe a step shy of midfield. They'll mark it at the 49.
And that's why this guy is such a weapon in this offense, because you don't have to throw it far downfield. Just get the ball in his hands. He catches it close to the line of scrimmage, but look what he was able to do after the catch. He gets an explosive play for this offense.
Quick screen to the speedster out wide. They make the stop, trying to pick up just a little bit at a time to get to that first down marker.
I like the decision by the quarterback here. Just get the ball out of your hands, get it to your playmaker. A lot of times he'll dance and make even bigger plays than he did here, but it was still a positive game.
Looking to throw, it's Childs. Throws toward the end zone. Touchdown, Spartans! They went for it all, and it paid off with the score.
And that is exactly what this offense needed to have happen. They had to come up with a big drive, with a big touchdown here at the end of the quarter. That's going to help their confidence. They've now got the lead heading into halftime.
And the extra point puts them up by a field goal. So that'll do it here in the first half. Stay tuned. Halftime is coming. The Spartans will kick it away to crank up the second half. The ball squirts through the end zone. That'll be a touchback. They'll bring it out to the 25. The Nittany Lions going back to work on offense now. Tight game as we start the third quarter, and we'll see what type of adjustments they made at halftime.
And getting the ball first here, I think, is such a big deal. Like, I get the first chance to make a statement, to make the adjustments, to create some momentum for my squad right here in the third quarter.
Yeah, I think it's so important for this offense to set the tone here early in the second half, to get a nice drive going, build that confidence, and get your defense ready to come on out, get a stop, and change the complexity of this game.
Up now, here's second and long. They'll try the run. And he's swallowed up at the line of scrimmage by the big defensive tackle.
Great job by the defense. Everybody firing off the ball, hitting their guys, holding their gaps, running to the football, nowhere to go.
Sparty and nearly 75,000 of his closest friends pegging the decimal meter on third down. Oh, he's going to try to hit him deep. And it slips through his fingers, incomplete. That would have been a huge gain if he could have held on.
Love the effort on defense that time. That looked like that was going to be a completion downfield, but the physicality of the defender jarred the ball loose.
Punt is on its way. And the return man couldn't get to it to make the catch, and the ball will bounce out of bounds. Spartans have it back on offense, hoping to play some good ball. From the gun, running back on the move. Turning it on! Smashes him with the stiff arm. And they get him out of bounds after an explosive run, just chewing up yardage along the way.
I want to have consistency in my run game. I tell you what, this is how you do it. You don't have to always make the big play, but if you give it enough time, it's like Novocaine. You keep feeding it, all of a sudden, boom, you make a big play off of it. You can tell the offense stuck with it, and they were rewarded for it.
And the Spartans, after ripping off that huge run, let's see if they can do it again. To the air, it's Childs. And he'll chuck that one away and save the down. Nobody was able to get open. This quarterback needs to stay true to his mechanics. He just sort of heaved it up off the back foot.
And these mechanics are crazy. You see all these quarterbacks on the field with towels before games and doing that little salsa thing that you see quarterbacks with their hips, popping through. But it makes sense because you have to have that good, strong base underneath you. Otherwise, you start to sail that football and miss your target.
2nd and 10, he'll throw again. Buys a little time. Fires downfield. Just missed his man, gave him just a little too much.
Well, nice job by the defense here in back-to-back plays. 2 straight incompletions, giving up some yards, and the opponent's in field goal range. This is a place a lot of D coordinators like to send the blitz, because if you sack the quarterback and create a negative play, you knock them out of field goal range.
On 3rd and long, he has to throw for it. Quickly complete. And it's a catch, but he's got enough for the first down.
And that's a huge 3rd down conversion by the offense there. It's 3rd and long. You've got to lead, not by a lot. Quarterback, though, very poised. Reads the coverage, throws it in rhythm, and you stay on the field.
Looking downfield on 1st down. Got it in the middle. It's Kelly. They've got it down to the 3-yard line. Really well done on that throw and catch.
This quarterback right now is in a groove, and he's doing a nice job in pre-snap. He's reading the coverage, and he's getting an idea of where he wants to go with the football. That's why the ball's coming out of his hands so quickly. That's why he seems like he's in a great rhythm right now.
Operating in the red zone here on 2nd down. Now they'll run the draw. And he is stopped, not getting close to the end zone. Line of scrimmage still at the 3.
Well, they try to go draw on that one. There was just nowhere for the back to go. Great job defensively.
Yeah, and great penetration. You want him to run upfield on the draw play. The defense doesn't bite, stuffs the run.
Tight quarters deep in the red zone, but they can pick up a 1st down without scoring. 3rd down. He'll do it himself. And he waltzes in for the score. Touchdown, Sparty.
Man, you've seen the evolution of the option. You've seen the evolution of the scrambling quarterbacks that can run and be so dynamic and just so much to defend. The quarterback says, forget that. You defend everything, I'll take it myself. In for 6.
And with the extra point, they're now up by a touchdown and a field goal at 10. They're set to kick it off. You think this crowd's going to get loud when their defense comes on the field? That one bounds through the end zone, and it'll be a touchback. Penn State sends the offense back onto the field. The deficit here is just 10 points, David, so a chance to answer here.
Plenty of time left in this football game. No need to panic. This offense just has to put a couple drives together. And listen, the defense will get this back and get some stops forward and get you the football back.
And I think here too, David, you have an opportunity to keep the pressure on the opponent. Yeah, they just went down and scored, but you score here, and this game's still tight. You keep their feet to the fire, so an opportunity here to keep applying that pressure.
Here comes the heat, and they get home, and they get him at the 21. Sparty's defensive front is dominating, and they have a great history of doing that.
Yeah, getting after the quarterback, man, getting off the football, getting upfield, being disruptive, being a great defense that can stop the run and find the quarterback. Man, that's what you'd like to see if you're a Spartans fan.
On 3rd and long, no secret what he needs here. Intercepted, and that is the last thing they needed. Taking it the other way. Running inside the 20. Touchdown, Michigan State. And what a turn of events as this defense gets the pick six.
He made that look a lot easier than it is. When you break on a football, you got to see it and go at the perfect angle. The free safety leaves his spot, goes and gets it, and then does the hard part, takes it back to the house for 6.
And the point after is good. Kickoff unit on the field, and this defense will be called on to protect this lead. And he'll just take a knee, and this drive will start at the 25. The Nittany Lions going back to work on offense now. Trailing now by 17, David. This is an opportunity that they need to answer.
And down by 17, it's not panic mode yet. Like, I know we just gave up some points and our defense hasn't played great. I think this offense can still be who they are and stay consistent.
No doubt, lots of football to go, but you do get the feeling this is the time of game where, you know, it could get bad. If you don't score and all of a sudden they get the ball back, they take it down the field and put some points up, this thing might be over. So absolutely, this quarterback, he wants to drive this offense down the field and at least put something on it.
Man, you've seen this formula work at all levels of football. You pressure the quarterback, his numbers start to drop. He's not as efficient. Nice job by the defense.
Guys, this offense is already reeling down multiple possessions. Really need to cash in on this drive. Back to pass, it's Allard. Throws to the tight end. Got his man to the left. There he goes. Spins away from one. And they are pushing the ball down the field. A big pickup on that one, and the tackle is finally made. The Nittany Lions have it with a 1st and 10.
And this defense is going to have their hands full because they're going to need to be comfortable with guys one-on-one on islands in the perimeter of the field, and they're just going to have to make better plays than what we saw right there. They knew this offense was going to try to be aggressive. Got to need better effort in the back end for this defense moving forward.
And that is a different collision. When you're trying to hit the tight end after he catches the football, this ain't a 185-pound wide receiver. Most of these guys, 240, 250, 260, try to go low, take out those ankles. And you see a lot of times that's when they hurdle or they're used to it too. But those big, strong athletes are hard to get to the ground.
Caught over the middle. It's Pena. They'll get it down to the 8-yard line on that throw and catch, and the defense is backed up against the wall.
My old coach said you'll never go broke taking a profit. Take what's there, take the positive yards, and never complain.
Going to work in the red zone, they can't pick up the 1st down without getting it into the end zone. And the shot to the middle of the field falls to the turf.
Well, I love the coverage on defense. In the red zone, everyone's got their eyes on the quarterback, and they're flying to the football, and you saw that there on the incompletion.
They'd love to pick up this third down and get a fresh set with 1st and goal. They'll try to drive ahead on 3rd and short. Doesn't quite make it to the 1st down marker. He's short. Might have to give that coach a flag and a whistle. He was right on in his view of the play, and the officials agree and overturn the call. Trailing by multiple possessions in the 3rd and desperately needing a score, they'll go for it on 4th down. They'll run the sneak for it.
I think that's a big advantage of having a tiny quarterback, right? Is he can find little creases to wedge his body into to pick up short yardage plays like that on the QB sneak on 4th down.
And how about this? You get to start a drive with a 1st and goal. Looking to throw, it's Allard. He wants it all. Touchdown, Nittany Lions. Quick strike through the air for the score.
And that was a play call the coordinator had in his back pocket. He was hoping his defense would get the stop on 4th down. They did. There was no question. He was telling his quarterback, if we take the field, we're taking a shot. You know who you're throwing it to. What a great job of having a shot play ready to go, and it pays off.
The kickoff unit is out there, and boy, did that last drive quiet this crowd. It bounds through the back of the end zone, and it'll be a touchback. They'll put this one in play. First snap of the drive from the 25. Give to the running back. Breaks into the open. An explosive play in the running game as he's got the 1st down.
You know, as a defense, you can have the right call and the right guy in the right spot, but that guy's just too good. And how about the running back on that play? Just making it happen, breaking off the huge gain. It's tough to get these guys on the ground.
One play in this drive and already out to the 41. It's 1st down. To the air on 1st down. The screen, he's got wheels. And it is well blocked as they pick up enough for a 1st down.
The defense has got to be able to make a play at some point here in the second half. You're down 2 possessions. You need to steal a possession badly. You need to have a takeaway. The coverage is going to have to be way tighter than on that last throw. Otherwise, this offense is just going to go up and down the field.
The offense will put it in play from the 47 on 1st and 10. The give on the option. Able to scrounge 3 yards out of that one somehow. It's 2nd and 7.
And I kind of like how the running back didn't mess around. Like, just get downhill when you see an opening. A lot of times they close so fast, man. Be decisive, stick your foot in the ground, pick up 3 to 4, and we are not going to complain.
And you want to talk about his favorite receiver, it might be everybody based on the number of guys getting touches and a chance to show off their hands in the passing game. When you're dealing with a deficit like this, it's all about somebody stepping up to make a play, and you might as well start here in the fourth quarter. They'll immediately call timeout.
Timeout, Michigan State.
So the final period starts with a second down play. Motion from the back. To throw, it's Childs. Got it in the middle, it's McCray. They knock him down, but he's got enough to get it across the line and pick up the first down.
This offense is not letting up, guys. They've got a lead here late, and they are still taking shots. They're still looking for explosive plays. This defense just has not had an answer here all game long.
The Spartans with the 1st and 10. He'll keep it himself. Pass mistakes, and he may get more. Ripping off a good chunk inside the 25, and they're set up with a first down.
And if I'm this defense, man, number 1, 2, and 3 is stopping this quarterback, and he's done it by air and now by land. Like running the option, having success. We got to get dialed in. He is the playmaker on this offense. I got to go stop him.
Looking to throw on first down. Shoots it to the left. It's caught downfield. Defense makes a stop, but the chains move, and it's 1st and goal from the 8. He's been so locked in, it seems like any pass called is a guaranteed chunk play.
Yeah, and winning late like this in the ball game, keep trusting him, keep spinning. You know why? Because stats matter late in the game. You want some postseason awards?
Big guy tries to barrel in. Touchdown, Spartans! A great catch and run for 6. They've extended this lead, guys, but sometimes in a rivalry game, you get down and you fight back that much harder.
Man, you've seen crazy comebacks and crazy swings of momentum in rivalry games. You just need that first thing to break your way, Paul.
I think it really comes down to their key playmakers, David. They can come back. These guys need to take ownership. Now's the time. In this type of game, they have got to step up and start making plays.
That ball skips through the end zone. It's a touchback, and they'll take over at the 25-yard line. Penn State sends the offense back onto the field. A very disappointing performance for the number 1 team in the country. There'll be a new team atop the rankings when they come out next. And he can't connect on the throw. It's incomplete.
Well, the defense really stepped up in this game. They knew they had to slow down this passing attack. They knew they had some matchups they were going to have to win one-on-one. They've been able to do that, and as a result, they haven't allowed 200 passing yards in this game.
Gets the back moving. Looking to throw, it's Aller. Quarterback strolling away from Heat. Looking for his man in the middle. He's got it on the outside. And he gets it to the 45-yard line, and that'll be a first down.
I'll tell you, you cannot count this team out because of who's playing quarterback. When this guy's in the game, it's never over. Yeah, they're trailing here in the fourth quarter, but this dude can put up points quickly.
Looking to throw on first down. He's going to let it go. Oh, he had it. The deep ball was there, and it just trickled through his fingers.
At this point of the game in the fourth quarter, it is going to be tough for this offense to get some completions here because now, trailing by this much, the defense is expecting pass, and they're putting a whole bunch of extra DBs on the field to help them out in coverage.
Plenty of work to do here on 2nd and long. Back to pass. Grabbed over the middle. It's Reynolds. Really putting together a threat now. They get the first. It's at the 37.
And this defense has really done a good job containing this superstar quarterback. But now it's a big-time moment. In the fourth quarter, you know the ball's going to be in his hands. Got to get to him. Got to ruffle his feathers, hit him a few times, make him feel uncomfortable.
Intercepted deep in his own end. He managed a few yards on that return, but the bigger play was the fact that they forced the turnover.
And as a defensive lineman late in the game, man, when you know it's passion, you're pinning your ears back, trying to get to the quarterback, and DBs are trying to do this. Pad them stats, get the INT. Nice job by this D.
Michigan State has the ball back, and here comes the offense. How about the way they attacked the last time they had the ball, mixing run and pass and winding up in the end zone, Jesse?
That's why recruiting is so important. They've got weapons at every skill position on the field. Any of these guys is dangerous if they touch the football. Let's see what they do on this drive, David.
And so, Palmer, I got to take away something. I can't let them have everything and have success. I got to be aggressive against the run or play for the pass. I can't give them everything.
Looking for a huge play. Pulls it in down the sideline. And they're getting it rolling with that play to the 42-yard line.
How about this offense, man? You got to love it. Late in the fourth quarter, you have the lead. They don't get conservative. Staying balanced. Run, back it up with a pass, getting the first down, a few more first downs, and you can walk out of here with a W.
Back to throw, it's Childs. The screen, and watch out. And the defense holds firm. No pickup at all on that play.
Offenses want to get the ball to their playmakers really fast. And they try to throw the wide receiver screen, but how about the defender? He was right there in his space, got him on the ground as soon as he caught it. He was ready for that play.
Behind the chains now on 2nd and long. The give as they work on that clock. They'll give him 4 on that one. It's 3rd and 6.
And here's the mindset if you're on offense. Fourth quarter, you've got a huge lead. Obviously, you're going to run the football, but just be aware of the clock. You don't want to snap it too quickly. You're probably just doing safe runs inside the tackles like you saw right there. You just got to execute. You got to be aware, but you've got this game in hand so long as you don't turn it over.
Back in motion, try to clear the picture. On 3rd down, he'll try to pick it up through the air. And that's incomplete. A defender all over him. Knocked the ball to the ground. 4th down coming up. And the Spartans will punt this one away. He ought to be able to use this first punt to pin him deep. And that is just about a perfect punt as he pins him deep inside the 10-yard line. The Nittany Lions going back to work on offense now. This was certainly not their best effort. I believe this team is much better than it performed today, but they're going to pay the consequences of losing this ball game. This offense is so deep in the hole, it looks like the end zone's at the end of the earth. They'll send the back in motion. To the air, it's Aller. He just kept going backwards. You have to step up, and they get him for a safety.
And that's exactly what you call complementary football. The punter doing a great job downing the opponent inside their own 5-yard line. Then the defense takes the field, and they get the safety. You've got to love that if you're the head coach.
After giving up the safety, they'll have to kick it away. The officials offer the deal, and the coach accepts it. They will take the penalty.
Here we go. Do the show. Break. Red 54.
power football with the run. Really nice job creating his own space, running with attitude. He's up to the 37-yard line.
Yeah, it's make or break time for this defense. Now, they got to get a stop, and if that's bringing more bodies in, bringing more beef in, they're running the football right up the gut, right at you. They're not going to throw the football in this situation. Time to be more physical and get this big stop.
The Spartans in a good spot here with 2nd and short. Give to the back. Running into the open space. Drag down, but they'll move the sticks for a first down.
No mystery on that play. With the lead, we are going to run the ball. You know it's coming, and we are running right at you. Right into the teeth of the defense, and they're still able to get a nice gain.
The offense setting up shop at the 46, 1st and 10. To the ground with the back. Shows him the stiff arm. Let's see what they've got on 2nd down. From the gun, the running back looking for room. And he's able to shed one tackle, but still just a very short gain.
I think that was an example of the offensive coordinator trying to help out his quarterback. He's trying to keep these 3rd downs manageable. You know, you throw the ball on 2nd down and it's incomplete. Now you've set up 3rd and long, and now you're set up to fail.
Quarterback on the keeper. That play just got wrecked. 3rd and 1, and they went backwards. Timeout called there by the defense, desperate to get the ball back and save as much time as possible. And the Spartans will line up to punt it away. This will be the 2nd time they've had to kick it away. And that is just a spectacular punt, and he will pin them in the shadow of their own goalpost inside the 5.
Dude, how about that? Boom. I mean, you talk about power. That dude just booted that thing halfway across the field, completely flipping the field position and getting it down inside the 10. That is a nice job by that punter.
They are pinned deep in their own territory. They'll snap it from their own 4 to start the drive. They'll give it to the back. And a decent gain there before the defense makes the stop. Solid pickup of 4 on 1st down and 2nd and 6. To the air, it's Aller. Fires left. Makes the grab, it's Singleton.
And you see so many smart wide receivers, so many smart tight ends nowadays that they know where the holes in those zones are, and they work with their quarterback, and they find them, and they sit down in them and make big plays. It's tough to sit back in zone against such smart players nowadays.
Wants to throw on 1st down. He's taking a deep shot late in the game. A sensational grab down the field there as they try to at least put a positive spin on the end of this game. And he just kept running, and he ran away from the crowd, and he'll take it in. Touchdown, Penn State!
And a nice touchdown, continuing to fight, continuing to play. This one, it's pretty much over. Down multiple possessions this late in the football game. It would take a miracle, but nice job by this offense continuing to fight, push the ball down the field, make plays.
They're on it. They recover the onside kick, and they get it right back.
And there's still life in this team. Obviously, they're down here in the 4th quarter, but they're able to execute the onside kick. They retain possession, and now let's see what happens.
They'll start this drive from the 42. He wastes no time and comes out throwing. Here's a heat. He wants a big play here late. shot to the end zone.
Oftentimes as a quarterback, when you have success early, you earn the right to take more shots. I think that's what you're seeing now in this game. We're here late. They're still throwing it deep because this quarterback's thrown 3 touchdown passes. He's proven to his coach that he can get it done and he can make the right decisions and not put his offense in harm's way. And that's why you're still seeing them throw it vertically downfield.
Looking to pass. It's Aller. A deep throw as the clock winds down. What a spectacular grab there as they try to finish this game with a little something to feel good about.
Well, how about the offense setting that play up? We've seen earlier in the game a couple shorter throws. They're just trying to suck those safeties closer to the line of scrimmage, anticipating that they would get an opportunity to take a shot. They called the perfect play at the perfect time right there.
First down here for the offense. From the gun. Release to the back. And it's incomplete. If you're going to take a hit like that, you might as well hang on to the ball.
Well, the windows right now to throw into are getting smaller and smaller. How about the defender that time breaking on the ball? It was the hit.
And that is interception number 3 on the day. The defense making a play to put an exclamation point on this one, and that ought to do it.
Well, man, we've seen explosive offensive firepower all game long, and here we are late in an obvious passing situation trying to get this thing close. The big INT. Finally, the defense makes a play, and David, it looks like they just closed the door on this one.
Well, and you know, Mr. Quarterback, defense wins championships. And how do you seal a game? The defense coming up with a big moment. Yes, obvious passing situation. You know they're going to throw it. The big INT, and that might seal their fate.
A hostile environment can have a major impact on even the most composed, well-prepared team. So how much did the crowd play a factor in this upset?
Well, this is what makes college football so great, the home crowd and how they were able to impact this game. No doubt about it, David. They played a big factor.
And they're still jacked up, and they're still excited. They play a big factor, and it affects everything. College football, road atmospheres, they're tough. Even when the team isn't ranked like they weren't today, these are the types of moments that can jump up and bite you.
That will put the wrap on things from here. For David Pollack and Jesse Palmer, I'm Reese Davis. You've been watching another presentation of EA Sports College Football.